Hello, everybody. My name is Christopher Cranmora with the Santa Rosa Metro Chamber. I also work with the Visit Santa Rosa, mainly handle events and community engagement. And since Showcase is one of the events, I'm now helping coordinate Showcase. Just a heads up to everybody, we are recording this for others to see later, especially those that want to benefit or do Showcase. This is a kind of a how to get ready. In a moment, I'm going to introduce our team and our panelists. Each panelist will get about 10 minutes to talk. Liz will help compile some questions, and we'll have a Q&A at the end. And then we'll also send out contact information for each of the panelists in case you want to follow up afterwards. I'm going to let our team here at the chamber introduce themselves. We can start with Kevin. Go for it, Kevin.
Sorry, was that a me? Sorry,
That was you. I was passing the baton to Kevin.
clearing my throat with that one. Hi, I'm Kevin.
Sorry about that.
Kevin Stoll. I'm the marketing communications manager, and I also lead our direct our Leadership Santa Rosa program. This is my almost 10th or 11th year of doing Showcase. Fantastic event to bring people together in our community, and I'm really glad that we have these presenters here with us today that are going to do a fantastic job on getting everybody ready for Showcase. With that, I'll hand it over to Liz.
With that said, I am indeed Liz. So the majority of the emails you get when you register for Showcase are usually coming from my inbox. So if you guys have any immediate questions, I am the admin assistant for the Visit Santa Rosa team. So I help to coordinate additional events and Showcase as well. So if you have any quick questions or if you have your company logos or that kind of thing, it usually ends up filtering through my inbox. So if you have any quick and immediate questions, you're always welcome to shoot me an email or call me at the Chamber's primary line, the 707-545-1414 number, and then I can make sure you guys get all well taken care of. With that also being said, if anyone has any questions during this, Chris and Kevin both mentioned it, please drop them into chat or preferably, and then what'll happen is we'll usually touch base at least the questions that are asked, probably in between the speakers. If you have a burning question, you are certainly welcome to, I think there's an option where you can actually raise your hand in the chat icons, and then either Chris, Kevin, or I will kind of poke our noses in and kind of see what's going on. And on the topic of our so wonderful and generous speakers for the day, taking time out of everyone's busy day, I had the pleasure of introducing three of the spectacular gentlemen today. I have Mr. Fred Frey, the owner of Vintage Tree Care. Fred, say hello. Well, he's muted. Oh, hang on. Let me try that one more time. Oh, let's unmute you.
Oh, wrong one.
Hold on.
There we go.
How about there? Sorry.
There, that's the one.
Liz, sorry about that. I was trying to stay out of everybody's way there.
And that's a man committed to his work. He's literally fitting this in between doing tree work in his car. What a guy.
Yeah, this is my office. This is it. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it.
A little bit of information about Fred. Fred is a fourth-generation Santa Rosan with a deep-seated passion and care for trees, with over 30 years in the industry, 20 years as a business owner. And Fred's bringing his old-fashioned values of customer service combined with the leading science of modern tree care to his customers. My next dashing gentleman that I get to introduce, Mr. Ryan Kelly.
What up, people?
Ryan is the managing partner of WSI Smart Marketing. Ryan, having over 20 years of experience and is recognized as one of America's premier digital marketing strategists, speakers, and teachers. So we are glad to have him here today. He is also a published author of the popular YouTube channel, The CEO on the Go. And last but not least, Mr. Carson Amiral. I always want to say Admiral, and I know I'm wrong.
You know, it's actually the same root word, so that's why we get that a lot. So you're close enough. Our
fabulous Carson here is a MFSA at Merrill Lynch, holding an MBA, CMA, and CLU, the full alphabet soup of the financial world. He is a founding member and serves as president of Professionals with Pride, Sonoma County's LGBTQIA+ Chamber of Commerce, and is board member of the Santa Rosa Metro Chamber, here brand new with us. Carson is born and raised here in Santa Rosa and is very passionate about his inclusive and economic development here in Sonoma County, as should we all. And he is also going to be kicking us off this wonderful afternoon. And let me make sure we have something to show everybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Liz, and glad to be here today. I'll start by saying I think the reason they have me starting too is because last year was my first time showing, and we showed as a nonprofit. So there's a few things to consider, especially as a nonprofit. I'm not sure if anyone on today is a nonprofit, but I'm just talking a little bit about how to maximize your impact at the Showcase Sonoma County this year. So go ahead, next slide, please. Yeah, Kevin, you're right. Next slide we have to come up with some code word. So, Professionals of Pride with, just to give a quick plug, is we are newly founded last year, and our mission is to be a beacon throughout Sonoma County for LGBTQIA+ business owners, entrepreneurs, and other professionals, as well as our allies, just looking to network, build relationships, and support one another in professional goals. So, the Chamber of Commerce, what they're built to do. And it was interesting to show at the Showcase Sonoma County, because I hadn't, quite frankly, thought about it from a nonprofit standpoint, but Liz and Chris especially reached out, and they were 100% right, because it does provide a unique opportunity to be able to connect with the community in a different way. There's a number of people there. You can attract donors that may not know you're there, so it's like being able to be consolidated there and screen for a bit. There we go. Okay, so it's like, I grew up playing soccer. It's like when you have the tournament and all the coaches were there watching. So being able to have everybody there, I think last year there was over 100 business owners. Is that right? So really be able to connect with the community in a meaningful way where you don't have to go out and circulate in a meaningful, in a major way, although I will, spoiler alert, say to do that later within the showcase. And so to attract donors, and it just gives you the ability to raise awareness. Sonoma County is it's a hotbed of nonprofits. I think there's over 3,000. So it's good. It's a really great spot to be there and be present in front of people who would want to connect with you. Next slide, please. So 3 things to do prior to the event, and this is going to be true whether you're a nonprofit or for-profit, but specifically more for the nonprofits, but really just set the clear goals. And again, this is going to be true regardless. What do you want to achieve by being there? And in the nonprofit world, is it donor acquisition? Is it volunteer recruitment, brand awareness? That's going to be true. I don't want to step on Ryan's, because he's the marketing wizard way more than I am, so he can talk about how to get everyone there. But it's, whenever you go into anything, it's always a good idea just to have kind of a set goals of what your expectations that you're going to come away with it are, so you can know how to present yourself, what you want to do. It is important to understand the event. So again, just being aware of how it's laid out is huge. But if you can, and I don't know, Liz, if I'm signing up for more work, but if you can even understand the demographic that's there ahead of time, because that means you can make a checklist of people you want to talk to. And that means potentially sending some people away from your booth to go find people at other booths, as well as attendees. And then develop a timeline is huge. I'm a big checklist guy. If anyone's read the book Checklist Manifesto, that's just a really great book you should read just in life in general. It really helps, not just organizing ones. But just sit down and think about the things you want at your booth. And I think Ryan and Fred are going to talk a little bit more about things to bring to the booth specifically. But just having that checklist is a super helpful way. So things to consider are going to be like booth design, materials you want to bring. I know Ryan and I think Fred had a lot of fun things to hand out. We didn't do that last year, and I regretted it. So it's something I think we're going to try and do this year, just to get people engaged and interested, because there's a lot going on there. Staff training is going to be huge, so we'll get into that in a second. Go ahead, Liz. Next slide, please. Thank you. So who to send around and how to mingle. A big strategy we had was kind of the offense-defense strategy. We did have people at the booth, and we also had people out mingling among, because that was a really important part of just, again, raising awareness across the community in this small area. So making sure you choose people, and depending on your nonprofit, you may or may not have staff. It's, knowledgeable, certainly. You don't want to send somebody out who doesn't know anything about your nonprofit, but personable and passionate about your mission. I mean, again, Fred and Ryan are great examples. I mean, Ryan's just a bundle of energy who can speak really clearly about what he's doing, and Fred's just care for what he does and like passion. You can see that come through. So if you can bring people to your event that just have this deep-seated belief in what you do, people are going to resonate with that. And introverts are great, but sometimes that's a bit harder for them to go out into a big one. So being a bit strategic about who you're choosing to attend. Train for the engagement. So again, talking points. Fred made the point earlier before he was on that this is kind of like speed dating. There's a lot going on. So being able to get just bite-sized nuggets about what it is, and having a way to know that you want to follow up with people, but you're not spending your whole time talking to one or two people. There's a lot of people there. So be able to get what you need to get and the information and move on and know that you're going to follow up later. So again, circulate the event, attend workshops like this. I'm not sure if there's another one, but really just understand who's coming and what's going on, and even potentially see if there's people you can team up with the event. Like I know I'm going to go make sure I say hi to Ryan and Fred and hang out at their booths too, because who knows going to come their way that might not come to mine. So I like to fish in other spots. Next slide, please. Okay, Ryan, I stole this pretty much from you, so thank you. But staffing logistics, small stuff does, pay attention to that. Again, this is going to be true for nonprofit or for-profit. If this is something where you're sending employees, you're going to want to pay attention to staffing and the hours, and don't forget about breaks. I know it's only a couple hours, but the event's from what, 4 to 7, is that right, Liz? Yeah. It's not really 3 hours. You got to get there early. You got to set up, you got to take down. So it's a longer time. You got to give breaks. You have to make sure you're doing that, because you don't want to end up with an unmanned booth or an unwoman booth. Nothing's worse than somebody's interested in what you're doing and nobody's at the booth. That's not how you want to present yourself. So Ryan had the idea of 2 static and 1 dynamics for split shifts, and I stole that wording. It sounded great, so I kept it there. Maybe Ryan can explain it later, or we can all just make up what that means for ourselves. But the booth setup, the big thing too, and I watched this last year with our friends. First off, setting up is huge, making sure it looks the way you want it to look, present yourself well, branded the way you want. But please don't forget to clean up. I watched Liz and Chris and team have to clean up a whole lot. So, I've never been to Burning Man, but I know they have a thing called leave no trace, which is, don't leave anything behind. If you brought it, take it out, and make sure you've staffed accordingly. I know sometimes after a long day that we want to get out, but do that. Since I'm being kind of a bummer on this too. Also, don't unpack early. That's just a big, not this just Showcase, like any trade show is a big no-no. It's not good for the people next to you or anything else. So, just plan for that when you're staffing. And again, material essentials. A wagon is very helpful because you're going to want to bring things like promotional items, signages. Some people had games, TVs, all sorts of things to just get people excited. So having been there and carrying it myself one time, I would recommend a wagon a lot. All right, my friend, next slide. If I have one. There we go. So as a nonprofit, being able to really clearly articulate your mission and impact so that people can understand who you are. Again, going back to what I was saying, think about an elevator pitch. It's a really lively event and you want to make an impression quickly, enough that people want to talk to you and are curious about what you're doing, and you can get that kind of conversation. So know how to say it, know how to say it quickly. Again, this is true if you're a for-profit as well. Also, point number 2, people love shiny objects. If there's a game, if there's candy, I personally will go into very questionable rooms if there's food, like the worst person to do this, but candy, games, handouts, anything to get people just engaged and even up to your booth. For me as a chamber, people are a little unsure about what we are, so they weren't necessarily sure why to approach our booth. So being able to draw people in was a big part of what we did. So we were really standing out there trying to bring people in to have a conversation. The last part really is because the point is to be kind of that speed dating networking style of quick interactions and engagements, you really want to make sure you do have a post-event outreach strategy. So whether that's sign-up sheets, make sure you're collecting their information. People have the best of intentions about following up, but we all have busy lives. We want to make sure that it's our business, it's our nonprofit. Our job is to reach out to the people who are interested. So have a strategy to get their information and have a strategy to follow up. And follow up quickly. You don't want to follow up in 3, 4, 5 weeks. People forget and they move on. So that's a huge, huge portion of, okay, not just a pre-checklist, but let's have a post-checklist. How do we make sure we follow up with the people we talk to? I always like to write down one thing that I connected with them on, something that was about them, just to help engage myself and them and really build that personal relationship. So that was probably a bit quicker than 10 minutes. I'm not sure. I think that was my last slide, but I'd like to keep it there and pass it on, and we can come back, or we can have questions now if there's any at the moment. So quiet. I answered everything. It's great. Everyone knows exactly what to do. No need to keep talking. Yep, hit it out of the park.
Hey Carson, I just want to say, dude, come on, that was awesome. But I want to say something or reiterate something that you said, and then I'm gonna add some color to it. Don't leave early. Everybody thinks that when the crowd slows down and the people that have come in after work or finally have come in after work and they've noshed and now the crowd is starting to dissipate. Everybody that packs up and leave, I think, wow, why do they not want to talk to me? Why are we not meeting each other? Why are we not hanging out with each other as the local business community and spending time learning about what each other does? And when people leave early, I feel like, man, you're missing like a really valuable part of the business community instead of just being there to make a sale. Yep. So I'll just throw that out as like one of the people that's there watching other people leave early. And I was like, wah, wah. So that's my opinion on that.
It's a good point. Actually, Ryan, you and I met last year at the showcase because
that's exactly right. And we got to spend time in my office getting to know each other in our businesses. And guys, that's what it's really all about. It's not just about meeting the community and making sales and getting appointments and patients and things. It's about relationships. So, yeah.
Yep.
And on that same note, really briefly, there's even some organizations that I have seen, and last year I saw people interacting with each other. After one person packs up, sometimes they come back and help a buddy. Sometimes both of those buddies come back and help clean up two other buddies. And as Ryan, and to speak both to Ryan and Carson, I have seen more relationships build up by an extra set of hands than just a conversation. Well, any questions, any additional questions for Carson at this moment in time? Sit on it, stew on it. We got time today because I am going to pull up, if it's okay with the crowd. Hey, Fred.
Are we ready to go live?
I think we're ready to go live. If I can get my computer to behave.
Thank you.
Maybe, possibly, one day. Wow.
Control.
Yeah. The problem with Alt and Control.
Oh, there you go. Hey, Liz, quick question. How many people are watching right now? Just to give me an idea.
I have 11. So we got 11 people hanging out in our room today.
Well, like I like to say, the 11 lucky ones, because you're going to get more info than the others, because it's an evolving concept, right? So am I ready to go ahead and start talking? All right. I wanted to lead in by saying thank you to Liz, Kevin, Christopher for putting this on, Ryan and Carson for partnering up on the talk. I get a charge. Ryan is probably the one person that I feel intimidated by, that he can hold the floor really well. And actually, believe it or not, I look to you for inspiration on how to conduct oneself. So thank you both for being here. And Ryan, you're treasure. So that being said, I assume this is an assumption, right? The first time I attended this workshop many years ago was because I was fresh off the boat into going into a showcase like this. So some of you might be watching because you're thinking, hey, I just want to see what's out there. I want to hear about some new promotional items. I want to hear about other people's techniques because I want to employ perhaps different methods. But I'm going to make an assumption that there are a majority of you that are feeling a little nervous. Like, oh my gosh, what do I expect? How do I do this? How do I navigate this? This is like 3 hours of socializing and I don't know how to maximize my effort. So what I'd like to talk about, Carson, that was a beautiful buildup, talking about the perspective of somebody who's been through this a year and some of the things that were taken away while they're still fresh in your mind. This will probably mark, I don't know, our 8th, 9th, 10th year of doing something like this. And for us, now, I think one of the biggest things you can do for yourself as a business owner, everybody has their own business model, their own standards, goals, sales goals, whatever it is that you have that motivates you to run your business. I feel intimately aware of what we want out of this workshop. So setting clear expectations for what you want and also clear expectation for what you should expect to get will build you for success. Because I've talked with a lot of people who have come to these after the fact. Hey, I saw you at the showcase. What did you think? Oh gosh, it was great. Or, oh man, I wish it wasn't, I don't know if I'll do it again. And I thought to myself, well, what did you expect when you went into it? Right? Because when I go into it, my expectations are framed with what I've seen come out of it. And if I can go in there and get, now mind you, this is my business model. If I can get one, let's say 2, 3 really good leads that turn into work within a season, and they're starting to tell their friends, because we run our business on reputation. There are a lot of tree services out there. So if we can brand ourselves as, hey, we know what we're doing. We would love your business because we care about trees. And that essence is magnified through our presence there. And we have the good fortune of getting a couple of leads. We've hit it out of the park, right? Now, that's not to say that that's what everyone should expect, but I've built our table and the way we work with people to meet that goal. So I think that's helpful. Have an expectation, talk to some other people, maybe that are similar business models, and see how they work it. But I'm going to talk from the perspective of what I just said about our company, that we're really striving for reputation construction and nurturing long-standing relationships. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this, Liz. Let's talk about how we set up our booth, things that we have seen successful in the way we do it. So first slide is just, that's our brand, right? Okay, actually, that slide, you don't have to move it back, but this slide now is taken off of that first one. Does your booth clearly define your business? Do I walk by your booth and see a muddled, confusing, wait, are they selling something? Wait, no, maybe it's oh, wait, what? I don't know what it is. Well, I don't have a lot of time, so I'll go to the booth that I know what it is. So clearly define your business. You should be able to, within a snap of a finger, look up at a booth and go, oh, I know exactly what they do, and I'm interested in that. So that you're drawing in the right people. Because literally 3 hours sounds like a lot of time, but this is, for me, probably Ryan, you're going to nod, Carson, if you haven't experienced it yet, it is madness. It's like people walking up. I've got a question for you. You look to the left. Hey, how you? And next thing you know, how do I manage my time effectively? So the one thing you can do is you can bring in people that are interested in what you do. So clearly define your business. Let's jump to the next one, Liz, if you don't mind. Okay, this is what I was taught early on, and it may have just been because it somehow stuck in my mind. But it kind of drives a little bit with what Carson was saying about, you know, you got some people on the offense and some on the defensive. So we try to staff our booth with 4 or 5 people. And I love sending someone out on the offensive, whether it's me or another arborist on staff. I want to go around because there's a lot of business to business opportunity here. I'm talking anything that complements your business. For us, it'd be like, you know, a commercial insurance company, which we love one, but those are the just examples. Insurance companies, property managers, people that are good for us. Well, they may not be on the offensive. So I'm going out there to find them, right? And get out in front of your table. If you're sitting in a chair and you're leaning over looking at your phone, that says to me, I'm not that interested. Now that's an assumption. But if you're standing out in front of the booth, you're engaging, you're smiling. Hey, how you doing? Are you enjoying your time at the workshop? Oh gosh, tree service? Yeah, come over here. Let me tell you all about it. Next thing you know, we can't stop talking to people because they know what we're selling, and we're out there to actively engage them. Please take an active role, maximize those 3 hours. Because I have walked by many booths where the people look like they're calm and comfortable, but it doesn't look like they're ready to jump out and talk with me, right? And I've got so much ground to cover that I'm going to look for those traits that draw me in. Let's jump to the next slide, Liz, please. Actually, go back one. Sorry, I figured I would say that somewhere. Okay, look at the bottom of this slide. You'll see a jar and it says enter to win. This is a great teaser, something that I was taught early on that I love to implement. Now, I don't know if the chamber asks you to do it or recommends it anymore. I haven't even read the paperwork. I'm just going to show up, Liz. I'm sorry. But we used to have a giveaway. So we'd have a little prize on the table, something of a modest value, $50, $60, $80, whatever it is you want. It could be a promotion. Like, hey, we're going to give you a free consultation if you sign up today to book one. And it has this much value. Maybe it's a call to action. But we usually have a little gift package, like a pruning book and some hand pruners. And everybody drops their business card in. Number one, I'm gathering contact information one at a time while they drop it in there. And then I'll draw it at the end of the night, call them up, and I'll get a one-on-one with someone across town. Hey, here's your hand printers. Tell me more about your business. It's a great way to draw people in, because some people might walk right by if there weren't something to do. So jump to the next slide, please. Okay, so this was one of my most fun years I ever had. This is a couple years ago. The LBC had just put this patio out back, and we had this new truck, and basically we created what some call eye candy. It was like, whoa, what in the world is going on over there? I got to check this out. And so what we had, go to the next slide now, if you don't mind, Liz. We had this little log pull. Right now, we found out that most of our constituents were like 10 years old and younger. But guess what? They don't go there by themselves. They go with their moms or dads or uncles, whoever, who's my target, right? So even though I was keeping the kids busy and they were having a great time, I started more conversations with adults and parents and potential prospects because I drew them in with something fun. And you don't have to go to the extreme of bringing a log lift, but it's an example. Have some eye candy, something that makes people go, what is going on over there? I got to go talk to the people in this booth. Do I have another slide, or was that it? No more slides? All right, let me see. I'm checking my time here. How am I doing on time? Do I have another minute or two, or do I? Okay, all right. So I got the thumbs up. So let me just quickly look at my little thing that I was writing down as Carson was talking. So definitely, I am going to jump in and high five and tag team these two guys on stay till the end, because when you start pulling down your booth, it sends the message to the people in the place like, oh, maybe we got to get out of here because this thing's shutting down. Stay till the end. It's what you'll never know if your best prospect is going to walk by at the end. And am I still presenting, by the way? But I mean, everyone can still hear me. All right, good. Let me see. So we got the attractions giveaway, set good expectations. Do you want business to business, business to consumer? Know your target audience. And I can usually tell, having done tree work for this long, knowing my business and my business model, I can tell in the first 10 seconds if someone is who I want to engage deeper, and very politely we'll draw them in, ask a question, like a quick elevator pitch that's it's not non-confrontational. It doesn't make them feel weird if they say, hey, thanks, but I don't need my trees cared for. But we'll get some conversations going, and I can tell in a hurry if they're going to be a great fit, and we'll really dig in deep to try to engage them and see if we can walk away learning something about one another. Yeah, I would say that's about all I've got as far as things that I wrote down. I don't really have anything else. I'd say just be energetic, have your essence come out, like know your business, and find the people that are passionate in your company that really love what you do. And boy, it'll come through and people will want to talk with you. And here I am 10 years later, and some of my best prospects / referees, is that the word I look for? Referral sources have come out of this event. So to me, it's worth every dollar and every minute. So I hope all of you see to it to come out this year, give it a shot. I really don't think you'll be disappointed, but come into it with some good expectations. Maybe it'll be your first year and you'll learn a lot. Like, oh shoot, I should have these promotional items, or oh, I should have gotten a booth that was closer to the beverages because our company is so similar. And then you'll start to tweak it with Liz and the staff and find out right where you fit. But I think it's going to be a great thing. I love it, and I really want to see if I can get everybody out there. So thank you for joining, and I'm going to shut off my microphone now.
Fred, a joy as always. Any immediate questions for Fred that we want to either unmute and ask or throw in the chat real quick?
I actually want to give a compliment. One of the things that I really appreciate about Fred is the adaptation and growth of him at his table. If you met him that first year and you've seen him last year and you've seen what he's done to his table, what he's done to his scripting, what he's done to engagement, it's inspiring. It's very cool. So Fred, just a compliment, man. It's cool to see you kind of like lean into it and be like, there's a famous guy that I listen to that does a lot of like self-leadership and stuff. And he says, hey, the way you do one thing is the way you do all things. And I just, when you think about that, it really makes you think about who you really want to be and how you really want to be seen. So I just compliments to you, man.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. That means a lot.
Yeah.
I was say one thing I loved about your picture, Fred, was that you are super engaged in that picture. You and your coworker were just smiling, talking to the person. That's the kind of attitude that brings people up to your booth and want to talk.
Thank you, Carson. I appreciate that.
Okay, am I starting here?
The floor is yours, Ryan.
Okay, couple awkward things are gonna happen. That's Case. She's our social media manager. She is gonna float around me for a hot second and take pictures while I'm talking. Sorry. Also, my son is about to run out of gas around the corner and his text messaged me, Dad, can I come get a couple of dollars of cash? So he may also interrupt us, guys. This is just the life that I live on this day. So here we go. I can't wait to show you what I've got for you. I'm going to ask if I can share my slide deck. I'm kind of the nerdy marketing guy. Let's see here. And I mean that with all due respect to myself, because I've literally spent my whole lifetime trying to be nerdy now. So I've got this up. I'm going to close that down. I'm going to pop you guys over onto my screen number 2. And I'm just going to say, guys, thanks for being here. By being here, you clearly care about your reputation. You care about how the community sees you. You care about the money you spend lasting and going as far as it can. You care about a lot of things if you're not only showing up to the showcase, but you're showing up to the pre-seminar and you're paying for the showcase. You have goals, you have dreams, and you have aspirations, and you're hoping that you're going to do the right things on the other side for it to come out. So I'm going to talk about kind of the other side of things when it comes to tips and tricks. And by the way, this woman walking around me, Case, she's the one that helps us come up with these marketing ideas, these posts, these pictures. What are we going to talk about and when, and how are we going to promote where we're going to be? So today I'm going to start with telling you briefly about me, and then I'm going to get into 2 major parts of tips and tricks that I get excited to talk about. So here's a little bit about us. We are a team of 8. We're on North Dutton Avenue, and we're a digital marketing team. We do a lot of online reputation. We do a lot of online search. You can read the things on the screen. That's why I'm not trying to read all the things to you on the screen. We have our executive team here locally, and then we have teams all over the world. But when you look at what we actually do as an organization, we do a lot of things, but it's like, well, what are we doing right now? We're doing a lot of helping companies adapt to how search is changing online and how they're being found online. So a lot of companies that used to be found online dominantly, with the onslaught of artificial intelligence, are losing their places online. That's what we're doing. We're fixing all those things, and we're helping with online marketing campaigns. To sum it up, we create wealth for businesses through online marketing. Okay, so we're going to talk about promotions and engagement. And then we're going to talk a bit about marketing. So here we go, promotions and engagement. You guys have seen their setups. I wanted to throw down on mine. I have this fun big background thing that we've done. Something that you'll notice, though, is we always back up our table to that. We don't want our people sitting down behind the table ever. Forget about even looking at their phone. I want people, if my team is going to sit down, I'd rather them sit in a seat in front of my table. Right? Something else I do that I find is a little bit unique is I have standing mats in front of my table so that when people do stop and stand and they do want to stand and have like a 5-minute conversation, they're actually not even noticing, but their knees hurt less, their ankles hurt less, their feet hurt less. I'm trying to make it more comfortable for them to stay. And these are all the kinds of things that we do too, like backdrops, branded tablecloths, business cards, holders, trophies. What do you have that's going to build trust and authority that you might be better than the other people in town? How do you prove it? Right? And then all these other things, including QR codes for engagement, and just all the things that you would need to have at your table. So now let's look at promotions. You guys, I don't love promotions. I'm not going to lie. I did pens. They were too common. Clips too common. Candy and snacks. You know, Fred said it right, man. How do you get the right people to come to your table? Because you've got this flow of people, and the last thing you want is the wrong people at the front talking to you and the right people behind them walking by thinking you're too busy to talk to them. So, you know, you have to be cautious about what's on your table because people will look at your table and it will draw them in. So make sure that you're trying to draw the right people in using the right kinds of collateral or giveaways or promotions. So this is kind of our like ecosystem, if you will, on how we promote this thing. And I want you guys to go into this like with your eyes wide open. Imagine if every presenter at the showcase did what I'm about to show you. So put that lens on as I'm talking to you, okay? What would happen if we all made an effort to invite people, not just our team, not just our whoever's? What if we became a resource and we started telling people, hey, we're going to be at the showcase on this day and this time. You're going to come? You're going to come visit me? Try to get them to say yes. Invite people in person. Invite people via email. Invite people through video. We go to places like BNI, Business Networkers International, Sonoma County Alliance. We're members of multiple chambers of commerce. Shameless plug, Mark West has me doing an AI workshop in about 2 months. And we love working with nonprofits. So think about the places that you are, the people that you see, and who your community might be. Use social media. Use your personal Facebook, your Instagram, your professional LinkedIn. Use your company collateral, your company channels. Use hashtags. I know it seems silly, but as a marketing guy and what was and what used to be search engine optimization, where you try to come up in search engines, it's now search everywhere optimization, because AI cares not just about all the stuff online like Google, but it cares about your culture, your social media, what you believe in, what you think about, talk about, and dream about. So if that's the case, guess what? Social is becoming search. People in the next couple of years are going to go to social and type in hashtag events near me. You want them to know where you're going to be? Know the hashtags. Think of it like search on social. Tag people and companies that you think would want to be there, that might be a part of your community. Create events online. Just because Liz does a great job creating an event on Facebook and inviting everybody to it, what if I created an event on my Facebook and said, I'm going to be at this place, and then I reached out to my entire audience on Facebook and said, come see me, guys. Gosh, I'd love some encouragement, some inspiration. Come check out my table. Get people to the event. Create polls, competitions online, use pictures. Let's look at what some of these look like. So this is me and my business partner, Cynthia. And this is a professional pre-post. Hey guys, this is coming. We're going to be here. Don't miss out. You don't want to miss it. We're pushing it out to our clients, our friends, our family, our colleagues, and people looking at us that we don't even know, that are looking at us as prospects, thinking about hiring us. Oh, that's where they're going to be. Maybe we'll go see where they spend time. Use your personal, right? Plead with a little bit of emotion, a little authenticity instead of all this businessy, like, you know. I mean, I guess I'm in polo shirts a lot on my personal stuff too, but I'm just saying there's a different tenor and like a different tone when you speak on a personal channel than when we speak on a business channel. Be authentic to the channel, be authentic to yourself, and invite the right peoples in the right ways. And then post during, and I know this seems crazy. We love doing it. We love like flexing. We're here. This is fun. You're missing it. Come. We're still here 2 more hours, right? So we're engaging and promoting before, we're engaging and promoting during, and I bet you put the math together, we post after. Come on, guys. So, and we do fun stuff. Like in this case, we actually set up a camera for a time lapse so that we could show in our follow-up social media all the engagement that we had with the crowd moving around our booth and people stopping to talk to us. And it made it interesting. It made us look popular, and it was compelling to watch. It wasn't boring. It wasn't a static image. So also think outside the box and be like, I wonder how other people do this. Guess what? It's not hard. They just figured out how to do it. Go to ChatGPT and say, what's the easiest way for me to set up a time lapse if I'm at a showcase promoting my business? And it will give you all the easiest ways to do it. Good Lord. Okay. Client invitations. This is actually a very specific thing that I do. I want to send personal videos, emails, calls. I'm tagging clients. I'm having when they're in doing reporting meetings and we're telling them about the successes that we're having with their campaigns and their businesses. I also want to say, hey, by the way, we're going to be at this showcase. I'd love for you to come by. In fact, there's probably going to be other people there I could introduce you to. Right? So invite your clients. Would somebody do me a favor and mute
Got it.
that noise coming in for me? It's a little
Got it.
distracting. There we go. Email marketing. It's pretty self-explanatory, guys, for what it is. Oh goodness. I think we muted and then they unmuted. Can we? Okay. So email marketing is important. If you have email marketing, if you use MailChimp or Vertical Response or have anything set up where you already have a list that you're working on, do you do a newsletter? If you do, you should probably tell people where you're going to be and how they can come find you. And if you're doing a cool giveaway or a cool competition or something like that, promote, promote, promote. Let's see here. And then when we talk about the follow-up and the follow-through, when it comes to a showcase, I feel like, guys, we have to have systems. And so often, for many years, guys, before I kind of figured out what worked for us, and it was trial and error. So I'm hoping you learn from our error and avoid the trial. But we figured out, like, we need a system. We're coming back with, like, first of all, we came back with very few business cards the first time, which, I mean, as a consultant, that sucks. And then the second time, we're like, okay, we're going to try and get some business cards and we're going to have a piece of paper people can write their names on. And like, we didn't really have a process for like promoting that or directing people to that or what the script would be when we knew in that script to direct them to that next step or stage of the communication or engagement. Processes are what accomplish goals on purpose. So for us, you know, adding business cards to a prospect list CRM. Guys, if you don't have that, use Excel and just make a list. Add a drip campaign if you can. If you don't have automations and stuff like that, be like, okay, I have this list in my Excel document of these 20 people that stop by. I'm going to, on this week, send all 20 a thank you for stopping by email. And 1 week later, I'll schedule time to send them back a, hey, I'd really love to engage. Did I miss you? Kind of thing. Oh, I think my son might be coming in for money. It's about to happen. I just saw one of my team members eyeball me through my glass. So then we look at like personally email high volume prospects. I love inviting people that are considering doing business with me to places that I'm going because it shows them that I'm engaged, that I'm a part of the community, that I'm knowledgeable, that I know what I'm doing, and all those kinds of things. And it's also another way to get people to believe in you. I love inviting people not just to showcase, but to seminars and webinars and places I'm going, not even that I'm speaking. I invite our prospects to visit and go places with me. Execute great LinkedIn requests. And always ask for the meeting or the close, whatever yours might be. And the close might be coffee. The close might be a phone call. The close might be someone writing down that you're going to come over and you're going to take out 3 trees off their gorgeous property. What is the close? All right. If you go to a career fair, and this is a little added on, tack on, not the showcase, but just I want to say this because it's a very similar setup. It's a very similar place to be. It's a very similar kinds of conversation. When you do a career fair, disqualify people really quickly. Because I remember being a young guy and going to those things and then not hearing back all the time. And it was heartbreaking trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. So, you know, disqualify quickly, say yeses and nos quickly, schedule phone calls, take action, do what you say you're going to do. If you tell people you're going to call them, you call them. If you take someone's business card and say, I can't wait to reach out, your reputation is now attached to that business card. If you lose it, drop it, misplace it, you will forever be the guy that they remember last year and never called them back. Okay, and that was it. That was it for me. I made it through, people. Thanks for listening. If you guys have questions for Carson, Fred, or myself, we'd love to be as helpful as we can be. That's why we're volunteering to be here. We want you to learn from us so you can get better experiences faster than we had to find our own methods.
Everyone's welcome to unmute. And Ryan, thank you so much for being always such an energetic force here and providing so much experience and information. It's a value not only for everyone who is luckily here today on this little seminar, but invaluable to people who end up receiving this recording later. this is a great chance. We have a little bit of time. Let's see. And you guys are welcome to unmute and ask questions if you'd like. Spencer, if you like, you are welcome to unmute and ask your question, or I'm happy to answer it on your behalf if you like.
Okay, well, for everybody then, if we invite people from our mailing lists and our client lists, do they have to register to show up at the showcase?
Chris?
They don't have to pre-register. If they want to take advantage of the food and drink, there is a charge for a wristband to do the tastings, but otherwise they can just show up the day of. We can take care of them at the door if they want to do the tastings. Otherwise it's a free event.
Okay, great.
Liz, is this a good spot to inject something?
Sure. I also saw Jared wanting to ask a question.
Go ahead. It might come up organically, but I have a thought that we didn't touch on that Ryan did last year, and I think it's helpful. So go ahead.
Jared, real quick, what do you got?
Yeah, mine's quick. So Ryan, I think it was Ryan just showed that that template you guys sent out last year, that kind of that universal one that we could just plug our picture behind, throw it on social media. Did you guys send that out yet, or can you? Because I thought that was really, really helpful.
I will follow up with social media and make sure it gets out. I don't think they've been sent out yet, but we'll get them out to you.
Those kinds of things are so fun. I remember like 6 or 7 years ago, we set up like a big white, we bought 2 booths. We set up a big white backdrop behind the second booth. I brought out 3 big lights that looked like stage lights or cinema lights. And then we just took people's fun pictures and we had props, and man, talk about fun and engaging, and just, we should do that again. It didn't lead to a lot of clients, but man, everybody loved it.
Fred.
All right, I'm gonna jump in. So this is something Carson, I don't think you touched on it. I don't think you did this year, Ryan, but last year you touched on something, Ryan, that really stuck with me. So for those of you who are first timers or who are coming back and you're like, oh, well, what a great idea. Get one of those little wagon things that collapses. If you want to get a big old burly one, go ahead. See, Ryan's nodding.
Yeah.
When you've done enough of these, you're all excited in the beginning. You're like, oh, I got a box of promotional items and my little TV and my tablecloth. And next thing you know, you're making like 80 trips to the parking lot. And when it gets into full swing, it's madness out there. So get there early, get yourself a wagon, organize everything in it, and make 1 or 2 trips versus 20. And then at the end, it disassembles really efficient, because when it gets busy, people are pulling around to those once available parking spaces and loading. So if you have a wagon, you can just wheel it out to your vehicle and you're in and out effortlessly, low intensity. That's all I can say is bring a wagon. And Ryan, I see you nodding. Tag team on that if you want.
It was life-changing, man. And I'll tell you why. I run hot. So now I get there, I'm excited to be there. I'm setting up stuff. I'm moving around. I'm setting up our backdrop. I'm putting out a tablecloth. I made, I think, 3 or 4 trips to my car that year. And then it started and I was sweaty and gross. And I vowed that I would never let that happen again, because now my booth looked great and I looked like I just worked out. So the wagon was a big deal for me. And I'll tell you guys the God's honest truth here too. I always bring a change of shirt. I always change my shirt. I always have a setup shirt that I wear, and then I clean up before the show starts. And then I get out there ready to rock and roll.
It was pretty hot last year. I remember in the setup, everyone was melting, whether they were running or not. So extra shirt, that's a huge tip.
Yeah. You don't think about that kind of stuff, you know. You think you know all the things, and then you get there. And I swear, every year I see something someone else does, and I'm like, oh, that's getting added to my list, because other people are smarter than me. People have been doing it longer than me. Look for what people are doing and learn from them, right?
Yeah, and just a little tip on that. If you get there a little bit early, you could always help bring a bucket of ice to one of the wineries or one of the breweries. Give that bucket of ice a nice hug. That'll cool you down really well, and you'll be helping somebody else out.
Yeah, that's cool.
I also just noticed I accidentally just sent this to just Fred. But I will say there are places on the note of the carts. Now that it's summertime, there's a couple of wonderful vendors that have them, everywhere from Costco Department REI, but I know that Sports Basement on Santa Rosa Avenue should possibly have some collapsible outdoor carts potentially, if anyone is interested. Day of, we have 1 or 2 carts that are kind of free use, but we have very limited access to them. So a cart is a great idea to bring with you, especially a great collapsible.
Spencer, to follow up with you, early next week, we'll have the assets going out for social media. I think it was Spencer or Jared, one of the two. I remember asking about it. So the
Perfect.
templates.
Thank you.
Yeah.
On that same note also, if you haven't sent me company logos already, if you can shoot me an email. I'm going to drop my email in chat really quickly. But if you have not sent me your logo already, if you can, I would greatly appreciate it just for our records so we can have it for our miscellaneous posts and advertisements and on-site stuff.
Excellent. And I wanted to follow up on Spencer's question and comment about inviting their clients. I mean, I think that's one of the things that that Ryan was talking about. Can you imagine if everybody who was exhibiting at Showcase invited at least a portion of their clientele, a portion of the people that they're wanting to do business with, and how many people that everyone that's exhibiting at Showcase could actually meet? And that's, I think, the thing about that collaborative promotion is getting people to make connections with everybody else that's involved with Showcase, with the chamber, and just how much that builds the network within the community. So that was a great question, Spencer. Thank you.
Think of it a little bit like this. I took, I think last year I ended up having 18 people that came that weren't planning on coming. Let's say, Liz, how many exhibitors do you guys have this year? Or do you think you'll have?
Currently we have about 40 registrations currently.
Okay.
And early bird ends on April 10th. So if anyone here hasn't already gotten a booth and came here to kind of test the water and check it out, early bird ends on April 10th.
So just imagine if 25% of the people having booths, only 10 of us decided to put out some posts, talk about the event, promote it because we want people to come and show up. That's another 180 people on top of the pretty decent crowd that would be new people. I feel like there's a lot of promotion that could go into this. And if we're going to spend money to be there, we could always make it better as a community, not just lean on the chamber. Yeah,
and eventually we should have anywhere between 90 or just over 100 different businesses exhibiting. So you use that as a multiplying factor. Plus, on a typical Showcase day, we're seeing between 600 to 800 people that just naturally come through. But imagine what it could do to increase that if all of the exhibitors are inviting some of their clientele or the people that they work with.
Another question. How do we find out where our booth is?
That's always a wonderful question. I will tell you this, if you are a previous year exhibitor, I do my darndest to make sure that you are roughly in the approximation that you were the previous year. If there are any like glaring issues from a previous year, I always ask to shoot me an email, and so we can have a dialogue about it and see kind of what happened or what's going on or what you love, what you didn't love. With an event like this, we usually do end up spilling into the outdoor patio, and there are great pros and cons for being both inside and outside, and I'm very aware of who I try and put people next to. Like, I'm not putting Exchange Bank and Poppy Bank next to one another for reasons, but I always try to make sure that everyone is within some kind of approximation of a snack vendor or a drink stand or someone who wants to have really deep conversation or want to do interviews. I also sometimes try and put people who want to have more conversations outside, because yes, outside is outside, but not only do you get more space outside, inside is noisy. Don't get me wrong, it's a great energy and a wonderful space to be in, but in holding long conversations, I've heard people that have been inside say, "Oh my God, I try to have so many conversations, but I couldn't hear." And so I will then try and encourage, "Hey, do you guys want to be outside next year? Yes, you're going to be outside, and outside is outside, but we will have additional food vendors outside to drag people outside. You will be nearby other hotspot vendors, and still in your own in a thoroughfare of just as much busyness as you would be inside."
Liz, I was outside last year and I loved it.
Yeah.
I,
Hey, you were right.
And I was going to chime in there just to answer that question a little more succinctly. We're typically about 2 weeks before to a week before that we're settling the final placements. If you have been there previously, we can pretty near guarantee the same spot. And if this is the first time in a while, just know that we're going to guarantee a good spot that's going to be in a good traffic area that, as Liz said, we do set up the booths where there are draws, whether it's a winery or a brewery or some other beverage vendor or some other food vendor, to try to get people through all of the areas and to create a good flow. And we try to create a good mix of interest to get people moving through Showcase. If you do have a special request and you want to be next to somebody, let Liz know and we'll try to set that up too.
Like this year I have an email in my requests. I have one vendor who knows another vendor is coming just because they talk to each other inside and outside the office, and they wish to be across from one another so they can bicker all day long and create a wonderful, bright, friendly competition between the two of them. So they have distinctly asked both sides to be across from one another so they can engage in this friendly competition. And that's another great thing to kind of keep in mind. If you have someone that you do business with that you think would very benefit from this kind of interaction, like Ryan, like Fred, and like Carson were mentioning, don't go in it alone. Try and bring them in if they need help supporting, possibly affording the booth or anything like that. You can possibly go in together as a team, but having someone else there to be able to have that kind of dialogue with and create a little bit of friendly competition is always a little bit of fun too. Well, we got everybody here. Any additional questions?
I'm hoping to meet all of you there. I'll be there the whole time. I won't be there for setup or cleanup. I will be at the table the whole time. So I hope you guys stop by to see me.
Ryan, and what was that about sticking around to the end?
As a company,
Do as
man.
I say, not as I do.
We love you, Ryan.
I'll have people there the whole time, but
Ryan's
I will
paid his
have a
dues.
team there the whole time of 4 people from beginning to end, but I will be there personally for the 4 to 7 part.
Awesome. I look forward to
Ryan's paid
seeing
his
you.
dues. He set up and cleaned up enough.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, I'll tell you too, Carson, one of my favorite things about your booth wasn't just the color and the fun and how like engaging you guys were, but you were also right by that person that was like making, what was it?
The lemonade.
Yeah, oh, it was
Yeah.
so
Oh
good.
man, every time I love that guy. I can't remember his name. I meet him every time, but man, anytime I go anywhere, especially around a park, that guy is at the Good Vibes Lemonade.
Yeah,
So good.
it's
good.
like
I
the
know.
best lemonade I've
It's
ever
the best
had.
lemonade. Yeah, I was happy because I was drinking. I was, it was.
Yeah, cool.
Liz, you put me in a great spot last year. I was top notch happy. Outside and with lemonade, happy.
Speaking of Carson's first year, and I wanted to make a comment on something else that he had said, especially in reference to nonprofits and staffing. You know, for smaller nonprofits, sometimes it's hard to staff these events if you have a small staff to begin with. But think about board members, think about your volunteers, your net promoters who may want to come to help you out, who may at least want to come to see who's at the showcase and can relieve you or what some of your staff for 15 minutes. Utilize the network that you already have internally. It can be really, really helpful for smaller nonprofits.
Yeah, really good point. Really good point.
Well, is that going to be the pin in it?
So,
Thanks for coming, everybody. It's
Yeah.
it would have sucked to take time to be here and no one show up. So thank you guys.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the opportunity, everyone. And
Thanks for
I'm
having it. Yeah.
gonna sign out then if that seems appropriate.
All right,
Yep.
I'm gonna do a
right.
really quick wrap up real fast. One more shout out. Thank you again to Fred, Ryan, and Carson for being here. We will be sending out the recording of this along with the presentations that were given to us, to everyone who attended here, who registered, and who's going to be signing up for a booth. Again, if anyone hasn't registered, whoever is here, few and far between. Again, early bird ends on April 10th. And hopefully we'll see you all at the May 6th showcase.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
And thank you all for showing up today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks all
Thank you,
for
guys.
coming
All
out,
day.
guys. Have a wonderful rest of your days.
See you guys then.
Bye bye.
See y'all later.